Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm here with John. We're going to get going. Oh, what am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking sideways at the screen. Okay, you in the camera. I'm looking at you. Let's do this.
There we go. So, where do we start?
Well, we just got apprentices here.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, group of guys. You know, it could be girls or guys, but it's usually just guys. And these are a group of people who are serious about the work. And they just came in. It's only been a few days, but we're getting them into shape, into apprentice shape,
Mm-hmm.
which includes a lot of pointing out things that uh, essentially holding people to it. Well, holding people to a higher standard so that, which makes it challenging. And there's usually a little transition period at the beginning when people realize, oh, wait a minute. Like, my current ways of thinking, my current ways of acting are no longer acceptable. I need to change those to fit this higher standard. And so we're in that transition period at the beginning.
You've been running apprenticeships for a while now, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, you could say yes and no. Like, I've been doing apprenticeships since 2004, and that's every other year. And then,
Yeah.
except for 2011, which was, I don't know what year, we're in 2024. 2011 was the first consciousness apprenticeship program. But every other year up to 2011, I've been doing apprenticeships and slash running them in the sense that I've been a senior member,
Right.
which
But
is to say I'm in charge of teaching people, learning, having people learn, grow, get accountable, all
has
the
has
stuff.
has your role changed since I went through one with you? Because you were like the lead apprentice for sure, from the get-go, but I imagine now you're, I don't know, conducting even more training and I don't know. I imagine that your role has changed so much. Has it? Am I wrong about that?
No, it like when I was there with you, I was doing the work. You know, I was in
Mm,
there 8 to 10 hours a day doing all the shit. I don't do that anymore.
okay.
So I have
Okay.
like my own life, whatever that is. And uh I I now go in from time to time, but like they're in there working right now.
I
And I'm
see.
out here doing this. But then from time to time I go down. I'm there when Peter's down to record the material, record what he says, and then I'll interject things from time to time. Like last night I spent some time talking to people, or the other day I spent some time onboarding people, or yesterday morning I spent a little bit of time sort of organically working with the group, letting them know, hey, this is acceptable, this isn't, here's why, here's like, think like this, and here's why. Can you
Mm.
see how this doesn't work, but this does? This is more powerful, this isn't, and here's why. You know, sort of having these conversations. So yeah, it's changed a bit over the years. I
So,
participate less, but I'm still here to work with people. Something like that.
what's your experience like? And my question sounds like an interview now, but I'm curious how your experience has changed having a less in it and more outside of it, um, running it rather than going through it. How has your experience changed of the apprenticeships? Do you get a different kind of value out of them?
That's a good question. Yeah, I I mean, tell you the truth, I don't I don't know if I'll keep this in, but I'm kind of I'm at a certain point where I'm like, I'm just fucking fed up with that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm to talk with you candidly, I'll probably delete that, but like a part of me is like, God damn it, here we go again. Or
Hmm.
I'm bored with it or something. But I think that's just me, and I'm kind of um on a personal note, that's probably why I'm building a house. because now
Hmm.
I'm in this like they're in the kitchen and the place where I piss and shit and the place where I take a shower, and I have to now share a kitchen with 10 guys that they aren't trained up yet, so they don't quite know, but they're getting better. You know, the kitchen better be fucking clean, that kind of
When you
shit.
go in there next, yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. But so I'm like,
So is it just sharing your private space, like your private life with other people? And it's like you're done with that. You've done that and done that and done that, and now no more.
like that, yeah. I'm just fucking tired of that.
So when that house is built, your experience of apprenticeships is going to change again because you're going to
I
have
I imagine
more
it'll change
space.
again. Yeah. So there's that aspect, and then now there is the other aspect where when I work with guys and when I see they make that shift, or the shifts plural, that they that that move them in the direction of being, like, say, more powerful or more free or more capable, or they've got their fucking communication and logistics on point, or like I those are people I can start to trust.
Hmm.
And that feels good. Like, okay, yeah, I got a crew around me and they're fucking solid. Like, that's worth it, you know.
Mm,
My bitching aside,
mm,
to have people around me that are trained up in that way. It's like,
hmm.
it's like, in a sense, like, I'm the lead guy, so there are certain lines and certain privacy barriers that I keep in place for on purpose. Um, but it's like, then these are more powerful, more capable individuals, and I feel I'm like, all right, you're more my speed. I can
Hmm.
I can hang with you. Whereas
Yeah.
most people, I'm like, just in the general. And I think maybe I'm spoiled because I've been trained up in a certain way, and I'm used to
Yeah.
people that are very aware. I'm used to people that have better communication, and I think mainly a big part of it is like take ownership and responsibility of their experience. It's like, yeah, that's on me. They know what's on them. Like, yeah, I had a reaction, it's on me. I fucked up, it's on me to fix it. I'll fix it. I can handle my own shit. It's not your problem that I'm feeling bad. It's not your problem that my life is rough. It's like, no, it's my life. Stuff like that. So how's it changed? It's changed in the sense that I think when I was going through the programs, I was doing a lot of work on myself. I still do work on myself, but it's different. It's changed in the sense that I think I've matured a bit over the years, and I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Like,
Okay.
maybe I've gotten softer, but I still turn up. Like last night, I had to. There's a
You
little
turned up
yelling.
the heat. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a guy, like, and I've started doing this a little bit. I threw my shoe at him because
What?
he wasn't paying attention. Like, he was just kind of dicking around. So, like, his mind was somewhere else. So I threw something like, "Hello, there's objects here, buddy." Like, and they're not gonna act in ways that you think are normal because his mind was lost somewhere else. So I don't know. So there is that side of it too. I still have that, but I
Okay.
don't. I don't take it. I don't chew on it as long. Like, I don't take my work home with me. I think I
Mm,
used to get really upset by people, and I don't as much anymore. That's one change.
mm.
I used to live in this maybe more angry state of, like, people are affronting me or people are against me, and I don't anymore.
So if I want to do an apprenticeship, I should wait until you finish your house.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and again, that's just my current state. Like, things feel very, like, if you were to be in my space, it's kind of claustrophobic. It's small. It's really
Yep.
small, and then I'm tired of moving stuff in and out and in and out, and then so it's cluttered really easily. Like, in order to set this up, I had to bring all the shit in. I'd rather just have
Mm,
something that's set up. I can just be there, you know. But it's good.
yeah.
I'm just bitching about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting older. I think
This
when
is
we
it.
when we get older, we want things to be more set in a routine. We don't want to have to move for other people as much.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tired of, yeah, like nope. Sorry, I'm just not doing that anymore. I don't care who you are.
Hmm.
Like, nah, not interested. Like I've been there,
Yeah.
done that. No thanks.
That's why the military mostly recruits younger guys. It's not just the physical being in shape and all that. It's also that older guys are just less willing to take other people's shit and move for other people.
Which that happens in the military, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they either move up in rank and don't have to take as much shit from other people, or they get the fuck out, you
Yeah.
know? That's how that works.
Yeah.
So you moved up in rank, so you can stay in, but yeah,
Uh,
you want to move up a little more.
yeah,
So,
that's right. I'm gonna upgrade my living space. It was kind of like that. I'm like, I'm just tired of living where I'm living.
yeah,
I'm gonna build a house. Fuck it. Let's go.
yeah,
But I think also that's probably part of it is there's that project is in the works. So
yeah.
when I walk out my front door, it's a mess. It's just like it's just an explosion of shit. Just I mean, it's fairly neat for a job site, but not,
It's
it's
still a job site.
it's a job
Yeah.
site. There's stuff everywhere. I got tools. I got endless amounts of work.
You have got, from my view, a bright patch of sunlight on your face. And
Is it
depending on if you lift your head up or down, like your superhero status changes. Like sometimes you're Batman and sometimes you're Daredevil.
okay?
You know what I mean?
I
Like
do. I
depending
can
where the
see it.
mask goes.
Yeah. I think the sun will rise up soon.
Okay.
I'm Batman. I can't see. Yeah, and it'll it'll leave my face. It is kind of like it's in the wrong spot. I got to be over here.
Hmm. Hmm.
There we go.
So, I've got different kinds of things that are kind of bubbling in my um, kitchen of fun things to talk about, but none of
Yeah.
them are like urgent. And you mentioned you wanted to do some fact checking.
Right. Right. Now we said some shit.
We
That
said a
yeah,
lot of
we
shit.
said a lot of shit. Now maybe we could fact check one thing
Okay. Okay.
that we said that well, oh, we're just going to get we're going down a fucking hole again probably. What is one thing that we said that we could fact check?
Um, Let me think of something that I've said. I can only think of things you've said that are wrong. I
That's
can't think
fine.
of things that
Right.
I've
That's
said.
fine. Yeah, let's pick on one. Of course, you don't conveniently remember any of the things you said.
I'm sure if I said it and it wasn't true, I was just joking.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think the what is one thing that I said that was fucked up or wrong?
It was an
Biden's
opinion.
not committing crime.
Okay, yeah. I think you probably said that. I think you compared, like many people, you've compared Trump to Hitler
Yeah.
and or to the Nazis, and I was like, I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, the Nazis assassinated people to get into office. Like
Yeah.
Trump, he may hate him, he may be a shithead, but he hasn't assassinated anyone to get into office. I mean, prove me wrong. Maybe he has, but I don't think so. I don't think he's that caliber of evil. There are gradients, uh, for example.
Yeah, I suspect he would if he could get away with it.
I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see that.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if what am I wondering?
We need to have a clear fact or a clear statement that we've said. Maybe someone in the comments
In the
point out
comments.
something we've said that you think is BS or implausible or just
Yeah.
interesting or something, and there we go. We'll work on that one.
There you go. Yeah. So that's your assignment, you listeners out there. If there's anything that's said here that's bullshit, like factually wrong, I'm not talking about conspiratorially wrong, because conspiracy, no. I want facts. Shit that we can say for sure is true.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because yeah, I get heated about political stuff, and I feel misinformed because I am, because I
Mm.
don't care to do the work to look sometimes. Let's look up and see, did Israel.
Oh, wait.
What?
Sorry, I did
What?
do some fact checking. You
Oh,
you said the thing about Tucker Carlson back in, I don't know, a few weeks ago. He said this stuff about like uh grocery stores and uh uh the train
Russian. He's
station
talking about
in
a Russian
Russia.
train station.
Yeah, in Moscow.
Yeah.
And so I went and looked at some of Tucker Carlson's videos of him, and after that, and I did some fact checking, and I saw here's a fact. Okay, so Tucker Carlson put out a video where he's going through a Russian grocery store
Grocery store.
looking at the produce, and he's also looking at the train station and a few other places
Yeah.
in Moscow. And everything looks really clean and really nice, and he's talking about it in a very um he's praising things that he sees, and he's
Yeah.
comparing what he sees to the cities in the United States.
Yeah.
And he's talking about homeless camps and graffiti and drugs and boarded up windows and some of the nasty things that you see in some of the, maybe a lot of the cities in the United States.
Yeah.
um, but there's a fact here. He's got music playing, and I don't remember what the music is, but the music really got me. Like, the music was definitely meant to create an emotional reaction in the listener and whoever's watching those videos.
Yeah.
And uh, it was far from being impartial. It wasn't just reporting. So
Yeah.
he definitely had a political slant that he was broadcasting for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would agree with the slant that he's broadcasting. Um, I think if anything, it could be misinterpreted. But that's my thing. So anyway, I did that fact checking because you were talking about Tucker Carlson saying, oh, what else did you say? You said he said that he has been radicalized against the United States.
Yeah.
And he did say that, but
Radicalized.
but it was taken out of context. It
I'm
was
sure it
definitely
was.
taken out of context. That was not the whole context of what he was saying.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, because I was seeing this on the Daily Show. Like, that's where I get my news. The
Yeah, and
Daily Show.
and I think getting your news from the Daily Show is just as problematic as me getting it from, I don't know.
Just Tucker.
Well, maybe just Tucker, or even some, I don't know. I was thinking something that's more entertainment oriented. Like,
Yes. Yeah. So here's an issue that I have from my own opinion, my own mind, is I I think there's an issue in this country right now, 2024, with there's a lot of distrust. And I think part of it is when there's news, quote news, some channels I still believe are like news. However, when there's stuff like Tucker, and I've also seen this in other places where it's not just reporting facts. I think reporting facts should be a cold, emotionless affair. There should be no emotion. There should be no, let me push it this way, push it that way, or what they call spin, where it, like Tucker saying about the grocery store with the music, and the music got you and it's promoting a mood and stuff like that. I'm like, nope, I think this is wrong. This is no longer news. Whoever's doing it like that. It should be, here's the fucking facts. 50 people died here. It is reported that they were killed by blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's like, oh my God, 50 people died and they were killed by so and so in this tragic, horrible event. And no, 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 no. Because then it becomes pushing a perspective or an emotional relationship, not reporting the facts. Now, I think the issue with the news is they have to make money. And because they have to make money, they have to sell it. And what sells is emotionally gripping stories. And so,
Clicks.
guess what's incentivized? Emotionally gripping stories, clickbait, whatever. And so then it becomes not news anymore, because I don't think people are strong enough anymore mentally to like, I'm spinning out a whole perspective now. Like, how honor in among people seems to be kind of slipping away.
I think as
Like
people become more oriented towards,
like
whatever is like personally gratifying for them in the moment,
in
yeah,
the
they're less committed to
individual.
something bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, in order for me to stay true to myself and be honest, I can't always be comfortable. I can't, I'm if there is a push for me to be a super individual, and so because I'm inwardly focused like that, I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to tell the truth all the time. Why? Cuz it might be uncomfortable. I keep my word. Could I let myself slip and not keep my word and still be accepted by people generally? Sure, because generally speaking, people don't care about what they say they're going to do and when they're going to do it, but for the most part. And so they're like, people don't live by a code, and I think news should live by a code, and you have to live by it. And the thing about living by a code, which I'm trying to say, is that I have to hold myself accountable
Yeah.
to the code, because I think it's worth it.
What, so
And I think news should do that. There should be a code, and there is. There's rules to news.
are there? I
Let's
used to
fact check
watch.
that.
There's a guy named Ryan Chapman, I believe, who's got a really really interesting history channel. I forget what it's called, but you can look him up, Ryan Chapman, and he talks about the trustworthiness of the news, the mainstream media in the 50s and 60s, and
Oh,
how that's changed. And it's changed, and he went pretty deep into it, and I can't fucking remember most of it, but it changed significantly because of the incentive structures.
right,
The
which leads to what I was just talking about. Yeah, like what's incentivized?
Yeah, the news went more private, and with the privatization of the
Yep.
news, the incentive structure to be impartial went down. And there was a kind of code, according to him, best I can remember, there was an ethos around being impartial, about being objective and straight-faced and unemotional and detached.
Hmm.
And that was considered very, very, very important, but that has gone by the wayside. That's
Right.
really hard to find.
Yes, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
what I would add to it is that what he's talking about, that period of time when the news was like that, what you're talking about as being like that should be the way it is. Okay, yeah, that should be the way
In
it
order
is.
for it to be news.
What I'm saying is that may be actually worldwide and in the history of the world the tiniest sliver of a speck of the minority. Like almost always in all times, in all places, has the news not been news. That's
Right.
that would be where I would go with it. Like, what does humanity excel at? Being objective, impartial, clear, and seeking the truth?
No, we excel at selfishness and lying and hiding things.
Making up stories to promote what we want.
Yeah, and what we
Yeah.
think happened, which can already is already influenced by our past history and our projections and our fears and our needs, and so we're not even seeing clearly in the first place.
And what we want other
Oh,
people to
Jesus.
believe, and what we want other people to believe about us,
Oh my
etc.
God. Oh my God.
That's the regular, that's the norm, that's the way of the
Ah.
world.
Yep.
This whole impartial news thing and freedom and justice for all, that's Disney World. That's that's a fucking
Ideal.
fairy tale to give us all hope, to keep us paying our taxes. I mean, sorry. I don't want to spill the beans,
I
but
mean, under government control. I mean, you know? Yeah, fuck.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that it shouldn't be that way at all.
Yeah, no, I'm just from an ontological perspective looking at like holding what should be.
Mm,
And yeah, so I guess those are some maybe you could say higher level ideals, but just the upper echelon of what people could be.
mm,
What news, yeah, and then like a higher, again, like maybe back to stuff we might do in an apprenticeship. It's like a higher standard. And there's powerful, so not just the ideals, yeah, there's the ideal image, like the knight in shining armor, the King Arthurs, the whatever, the John F. Kennedys, the whoever, like some top, Jesus, Buddha,
Peter Ralston.
yeah, some Ralstons, like putting that those are like the ideal images, right? Like something that in people's minds they might be like, oh, I should shoot for that. And the shoulds aside, like whether you do it or not, it's irrelevant. I think some of those guys, the reason that they're like that is they understand principles. They understand what creates that kind of power, what creates that kind of clarity, what creates that kind of freedom, and then they decide to live that way. Not for them, but because they understand. That's my suspicion. So it's like, and then that becomes like the obvious choice.
Mm,
At least for myself, it's that way for me when because of my understanding of perhaps the laws that govern reality or the laws that create a person, then I decide
mm,
what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of experience do I want to have? Oh, I want that kind of experience. Good. Then I need to align with these principles because that creates that. That's just there's no way around it. Like it's a law. And then maybe, guys like that, they get famous because they got something other people don't have. High integrity, perhaps, clarity. Or they like Steve Jobs understands excellence. I mean, the dude was a nut. I probably wouldn't have want to work for him. Like total fucking asshole in many respects. But the products that he put out
mm.
are excellent. And he had no, like, it's just, that's what you get with that. Maybe not happy, but his shit was excellent. And he probably understood that. And he's famous. And that, not that fame is the thing. It's just he's known for that.
Do you think there's pain in wanting people to change?
Yeah, if you think they should change, for sure. Because they're not that way.
Yeah.
Like if you were, I mean, like your the other person in your life
Ex
who's not,
significant other.
yeah, who's not very nice. Imagine wanting her to be totally different than she is.
I have no idea how that feels.
Yeah, I'm sure not.
I I started listening to
There's
this.
pain in wanting anything
Okay.
that's not
Happening.
happening. Like if you
Yeah.
want it to be some other way, but it's that way, you'll have some kind of pain or resistance or something.
The world isn't uh what is the world really like?
Yes, versus
What is the human world really like?
yeah, that's a good like it makes me think of I lived in Seattle for a while. And I was up there when there was all the Black Lives Matter stuff and all the protests and all that stuff,
Yeah.
which made it look like the city was burning.
Yeah.
And that was like a small portion of the city in a small area. And that's it. Now, granted, I did drive down the street and every so often I'd see some weird shit like, some guy screaming about, some protest thing over and over and over on the street. So it's like a little crazy, but I figure that's a city. I saw homeless camps more than I'd ever seen in any city before. That like that's what I saw with my eyes based on
Hmm.
my history. Living in some different places, but I'm like, wow, there's a lot of fucking tents out here. There's just like a lot of homeless people, a lot of crazies. And then, but if you were to watch the news, you might think that Seattle was on fire, which parts of it were, but that's like a small fraction
Yeah.
of
I
everybody
remember.
else's like life is normal, you know?
Yeah. 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 You get
So,
news that there's a natural disaster and you think an entire city is underwater or destroyed when it's not, you know,
yeah.
because the coverage. But what I mean is like, how do people, what really motivates people? Um,
Oh, maybe I don't understand the question.
what
Go ahead.
what really motivates people? What really motivates our institutions? Um, the movements of our government, companies, and sort of religious institutions and stuff like that. I started listening to this guy who probably someone on the channel knows his name. I can't remember his name. He's an ex-CIA operative, and I listened to a bunch of his stuff because the first thing I listened to really kind of blew my mind, and I was like, of course, obviously. Um, he's an ex-CIA operative. He's a professional spy. He works for our government, and he worked for uh, people whose job it is to they traffic in lies and manipulation. They get people to trust them um, in order to spill secrets about foreign governments. I mean, the kind of stuff that he was saying, uh, it's very revealing that the order of operations isn't one where people are looking for truth and justice. It's where people are looking for uh, the satisfaction of their agendas and their secret agendas at that. As
Yeah.
you and I were talking about, there's a public life, there's a private life. I'm privy to some extent to your private life.
Yeah.
I know you, but how much am I really privy to your secret life? There's a third layer,
Sure.
probably not that much, if at all. Like people have a life within the life, and it's the job of the CIA agent to get let into that secret life,
Sure.
and
Or
everybody's got
agendas.
one.
Yeah, like cuz there I can just look in myself. There's yeah, like maybe we could make distinctions in layers of privacy, personal, yeah, whatever,
Hmm.
secret, like as if secret, but what's the definition of the word secret?
I would say something you do not reveal to other people.
Right,
Period.
right, right. So
You don't
there's like
reveal it to
there's
your mom. You don't reveal it to your wife. You don't reveal it to your
yeah.
closest.
And that
allies.
that stuff we could call that like maybe my personal agenda. Like if I'm trying to fulfill a need in myself that say has been programmed in from long ago, or like I programmed it in, not realizing what the fuck I was doing essentially. And then maybe I go through life like trying to date women or something like that, trying to get women's love so that then I have a hole that's in my heart that's filled. I may not ever share that with anybody, but that's running me, say.
Hmm.
And that could be like that secret where it's like that's not talked about,
Yeah, and some of it could be
say.
irrational stuff that we built, and some of it can also be stuff that we have done, said, or want that is just socially unacceptable.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, there's
And
that like that private inner world stuff,
hmm
your inner self mind.
yeah.
The one back there that you where you get your way all the time. You
That's
do whatever you want in there.
I think a lot of that stuff is what's really at the root in everyone, moving society. That coupled with things like incompetence and laziness and breakdown, a lot of the conspiracy theories, yeah, they're conspiracies. People do conspire and make plans to hoodwink other people. And I think the technology and organization is getting better all the time to do that. But a lot of
Yeah.
times, reasons things go wrong is because people are just incompetent, including with the government. Why were there so many mistakes with COVID-19 vaccinations? Well, part of it may have been because people are fucking stupid. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I just like because say we have a group of guys here, and they're probably not your average. They're probably above average in smarts, generally speaking. Like they're not, probably smarter people because we don't usually have. You have to be smart to do what we do. I think it's like it's helpful. It's just or people who aren't too smart, they wouldn't get it or care
Mhm.
to come do this kind of work. And I've got a group of guys here, and they're incompetent mainly because they haven't been trained. And many people, and oh, even more fun, right? I've talked to, I've dated, I dated a girl. She was a woman. She was in corporate job. Few women now in corporate environments, and I'm realizing that in corporate environments, it's people again. The only difference is they have a college degree, but they've never worked on the person, really. And they've got gossip, breakdowns in communication, sloppy thinking, political fucking dumb shit that like if it was my environment, nope, I would not fly. I would clean that up right away. Like, no, 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 this is not how we're gonna be doing shit around here because this is stupid. Like
Mm.
and then it occurred to me because I used to think of people in corporate environments like, oh, they somehow have their shit together more than I do, or they're just intelligent. They're just. I mean, maybe they're smart. They just have that degree. They haven't worked. Nobody's told them about like how their emotions happen. Nobody's told them about train them in how to communicate, how to be honest, have integrity, keep their word,
How to think for themselves.
think for themselves. Or like I heard there's like a couple different sides, but one side of it is in corporate environments apparently there's people that think their shit doesn't stink and no they can do no wrong and somehow they survive in there and nobody tells them, hey, look, you fucking suck at your job, but they don't see it. They like, and when they get feedback, it's not them, it's the other person's fault. It's never them, so they have no responsibility, no accountability for their own self, and somehow they're thriving in a corporate environment. I'm like, how does that even happen?
I don't know. I think systems of, you know, I think psychopathy plus intelligence goes a long way towards attaining power. Like
Yeah.
if you've got a high IQ and a very low amount of empathy for
Yeah.
other people and some social savvy,
Of course, you're gonna kill them. Yeah. Yeah, you're
you
gonna
know,
clean up. Yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
So I
So
I don't know I don't know why I was talking about. Why were we talking about this? What got us on this track?
I don't know, but maybe people who come in to do an apprenticeship, they are looking probably for, well, as far as I can imagine, they're either looking to become enlightened or they're looking for some personal transformation, and probably more personal transformation
Yeah,
than enlightenment. And
depending, but yeah.
maybe I'm wrong about that, but I imagine, and I imagine that
It seems to me that people think that if they get enlightened, they're going to get transformed automatically. So I'll get enlightened.
so, but if somebody wants some personal transformation, that's very different than somebody wanting to change the world. Maybe they do want to change the world too, but they're looking at somehow changing themselves.
Yeah,
And when we're here talking about, you know, different things going on in the world, we're wanting to change the world to some degree.
yeah,
That's hard.
yeah. Because I can really bend everybody to my will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is coming from a desire for the world to be a better place, a different place. Like let's not fight each other like that, huh? How about no more war? Can we handle that? No. How about politicians live up to my ideal of a politician, which is like a fucking every single one of them is like got the wisdom of a sage, the humbleness of whoever's fucking humble, the high
You know that.
integrity. They keep their word, they never lie. But then again, they have to deal with outside threats, so you have to have, like,
The
I think that
CIA.
CIA person was saying, you need to have secrets because, like, in a fight, if I'm doing martial arts and I'm fighting somebody, I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to hit you. No, no, no. I'm going to lead you to where you are about to be in the worst possible place and then wipe you the fuck out. Like, so it's all about misdirection, secretive, manipulation to the max. Like, that's how you fight a war, people. You fuck with them so that they don't even start a war. There's like somebody rising up, they just disappear into the night, and then, oh, no problem, huh? How did we do that? Well, I don't know. Spin a news story, freak accident, blah blah blah. Just calm the people down. Okay, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Or like when I was working at a bar, I was doing security. I called it skinny security. That's how I would operate. I wasn't about to wait for some drunk asshole to turn into a drunk asshole. When they hit a certain threshold, I'd slide up to their friends and just be like, "Hey, we're here. I just see your friend over there. He's getting a little too drunk. If they get a lot worse, I'm gonna have to ask him to leave." So I and everything's just calm. That's what you
Mm.
want. Operating in the shadows, right?
Mm.
you know. But yeah, if all politicians would just do it right.
But when I hear you say that, here's what I think. I think
Yeah.
politicians are doing it right. They are waging war, and they're doing
Oh,
exactly what you're talking
well, that's
about.
coming from your assumption about politics being just that side of war. I mean, do right by the people that they're supposed to serve. Like in this country, I guess probably part of it is there's so many people trying to have an agreement about what's right. Like there's certain areas like we can agree on not killing each other. I think we've got that. Like
I don't
everybody's
even think
like,
I don't even think everyone can agree about that. I mean, some people literally think that it's our prerogative to kill people of a certain sexuality or ethnic group or whatever. That's true. We can't all agree on that.
okay, you see, so we can't even agree on whether it's okay to kill people or not. Or it gets more complex where what happens when somebody comes into your house? Can you kill them or
Can
not?
you? Uh,
What if they come into your house with a gun and then you shoot them? Or like, I don't know, I've heard some whack ass stories about some burglar breaks into a building. I don't know. Okay, fact check this. I don't know if this is true. I could see this happening though. They break into somebody's house, they get hurt in their house and sue the people because they got hurt breaking into their house.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, what? But other people might agree with the burglar. Or, I don't know. I hear tell that there's some, again, fact check this. Is this true? In California, stuff not prosecuting criminals that steal if it's under a certain amount of money, they just let them steal. So then what? Like, is that right? Can we agree on that? Is that wrong? We don't, and that's what the law is for. It's for those agreements. Abortion, there's a hot button issue. I think women should fucking choose. It's your body. You got some shit growing in you, you don't want it, get it out. I don't give it's, but we get some religion in there. We get some whatever the fuck. I assume religious, but I think there's a recent place where they're saying now, fact check this, when a sperm touches an egg, that's when life starts.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people that believe that.
And
But
I'm like,
there have also been cultures that thought that it was totally fine to sacrifice their kids to their gods.
yep. Or like the Spartans, if that baby wasn't good, I hear tell, if that baby
Yeah.
wasn't good, they just chuck it off a cliff, be done with
Talk about abortion.
it.
Is it
Late stage abortion.
late stage third trimester?
Late stage.
What about fourth trimester? Can we do it then? Yeah, there's people that are
Yeah.
fine with that.
Right, right. So then I think part of it is like maybe the reality is it's my attachment to these what I consider to be good things, and somehow I know what that is. And like I have some sense of how people should be treated. It's like, should women be able to do that? Yes, it's their bodies. And then in some states it's like a no. And I'm like, I think there's whole swaths of people. You're just fucking morons. You're inconsiderate people. Um,
And there are other people who really consider anyone who does that to literally be murdering children.
right.
They really
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah.
And George
I believe it.
Washington, you were like, George Washington, we think of him as hero. Yeah, he was. A lot of people in the colonies at the time when he was fighting for independence were loyalists. You said he was fighting for the people. I would say that man probably was fighting with a lot of integrity, courage, and honor. But was he fighting for all the people? No. Some people were like, fuck you, dude. You're a traitor.
Right. You mean loyalists to England,
To Britain,
to
yeah.
Britain.
They consider themselves to be British, and George Washington was a traitor.
Right. So then there's all these all these different perspectives that come together, and then you get general consensus that makes a culture.
Hmm.
We're all Americans, in America we're Americans. And I bet if America got attacked, the Americans, we'd rally together, and now we would be unified. So it's like I have a desire for that kind of unification where like we're together. But then
Yeah.
it's like, how do you that is really hard to do.
Well, you could just work with your intelligence agency to like accidentally let in a foreign terrorist to cause a major attack on home soil. I mean, I'm not saying anyone's ever done that in any way at all. Ever. Of course not. That would never happen. And especially not if it would
I
lead
can't
you
tell if you're
into a
joking or not.
especially not if it would lead you into a war that might allow you to make some money and introduce some new legislation that might increase your power base. That would never happen. Uh, you know, probably not.
Facts, people. I want facts. Always facts.
Hmm.
See, because based on what you've said just now, I can see the thinking would go that way. And I already know. I like see. I spun out in my mind like where you got that from. You probably watching that curly haired guy. He's done done some research, and now this is 9/11 was planned.
Oh, maybe World War II, maybe Pearl Harbor, maybe JFK, maybe Abe Lincoln. I mean, who knows? I mean, were people who were supposed to be preventing such things involved in enacting those things? Well, that's what espionage is about. That's what
Um,
covert lying and manipulating, which we know is is innate to the way human beings operate.
right.
Like this doesn't contradict what you know about human agendas and the self. This is completely coincident with it. That
Yes.
there would be such things happening
Of course there would be.
regularly. Of course. Are
Yeah,
there
because we're
exceptions?
dealing
Is
with
there
people.
honor? Yeah, we are dealing with people, including in the places that we think of as the most sacred. Like the chick that's dismantling, various like gurus and shit like that because there's like crazy shady business going on up in places that are supposed to be about
Oh,
enlightenment and
yeah,
peace and
Dr.
love and
Willoughby
yada
Britton.
yada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. She's finding the darkness in the in the temple of light or whatever.
Yeah, and they're all upset. They got their panties in a bunch about it.
And up to the point of giving the woman death threats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if those people are doing that, do you think our governments and corporations and world governments and world corporations aren't doing that shit? Of course they are. Do you think that
Yeah.
our media isn't in bed with the government and the corporations? I mean, this is not
I
the
don't know the truth
simple
of the
world.
matter, but it's not. Yeah, I agree in its complexity for
Hmm.
sure. It is a complex affair. Just being a human being is a complex affair.
Hmm.
And like just look at the fucking American tax code. It,
Hmm.
I don't know how big is that thing. I don't like how it's fucking complex as shit. There's no so it becomes this massive thing that has parts, yeah, which I'm sure are like the people that created it. There's the forward facing, there's the stuff in the background, then there's the secret shit, then there's the what can I get away with? Like we have, even just I would imagine this goes at scale, but at in a workshop level, we have ground rules for workshops for safety and what happens when the ground rules are there? Well, people usually test the boundaries always like kids. They're
Yep.
adult kids, kids in adult bodies, you know? I had a guy who was a corporate consultant to like some big wig fucking companies, right? He came down and doing a contemplation intensive. He didn't like the ground rules. He didn't like being told what to do. Well, the ground rules are for they serve a function, a powerful function. So he ate a cashew and showed me. Like he ate food when he wasn't supposed to be eating, right? Like, and this is a middle-aged corporate executive consultant to like top level executives apparently. I don't know what the
Hmm.
fuck he did. And he ate a fucking cashew cuz fuck you.
Hmm. Did he get enlightened?
No. It's cuz he ate the nut.
Yeah.
He took from the container of knowledge or what is that? He ate
the
from the
the the
tree of
tree
knowledge.
of knowledge of good and evil. Yeah.
Right, he ate the
Yeah.
nut of evil.
Did he needed to be cast out of Eden?
Mhm. We threw him out. No, we didn't throw him out. But I'm just, yeah, I'm tying in what you're saying to stuff that I've experienced where it's like, yeah, of course, people are going to push the boundaries. What can he get away with? It's like, you know,
Yeah. I guess the wake up call for me recently, and I'll probably have to go through it again because I'll go back to sleep in one way or another, is just like, oh yeah, like I spent a lot of time wishing the world was different than it is,
yeah,
and being outraged or just upset or livid or depressed or something about how people treat each other and how misinformed I feel. And there's some solace in looking at it as like, oh, wait, this is a big game. Like survival is survival. And then for human beings, survival is a very complicated thing because we're human. We do all the things we do. And it all makes sense to me that, of course, there's misinformation. Of course, there's dishonesty. How would it
Yeah.
be any other way?
Right.
And of course, the people who are the best at being dishonest are going to be the ones who are the best at the game. And at the same time, there's like this tremendous need for honesty and love and appreciation and integrity. And I recognize that because if I don't have those, I don't have any good relationships. I don't have good connections with people. Like there's that side of that too.
Yeah.
It's not just the lies and the deception, but I think those people that you're talking about, they know they're committed, but they also understand the world that they're in. I'm talking about like the saints and the saviors and stuff.
Yeah.
They're into it. They're committed. They're going for it. Some of them have given up their lives for what they believed in, but they also they understand the forces that they're up against.
Right. The
You
positive
know,
and the negative, both,
you both.
which it would be foolish to not acknowledge both. Where,
Mm.
yeah, like, yeah, like the people that it's like, oh, you hurt my feelings by what you said, and now you can't say those things because my feelings are important. All right, you're fine here, but miss, sir, when you go out in the world and somebody's trying to physically take you out, how are you going to deal with that?
Mm.
You think they care about your feelings? Like, wouldn't it be more useful to learn that your feelings aren't that important? And maybe there's other skills to have? Like, it's better to be a warrior tending a garden than a gardener going to war. What is it? What's that quote? Something like that. Have
I,
you heard
I
that one?
think I think you just said it. Yeah, I think that's it.
It's like, the gardener. Yeah, yeah, I can really know peace if I really understand war. I think the guys that really know war, they know peace better.
Mm.
You know. Oh no, no, it's fine. No, 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 I don't want to fight. No, no. Because I've seen fighting. Mm. I'm not saying I've seen combat, by the way. I'm just saying I've seen physical violence a fair
Yeah.
bit. Not like on the street, concrete, guns and knives. I haven't seen that. For like that kind of real, I haven't been there. But police people have. Uh,
I went outside this weekend with my son. We do dodging all the time.
yeah.
When he's with me, we do dodging, and he's getting to where he really likes it, which is cool. Just a lot of fun. Um, and we were working on some stuff, and uh, this guy saw us, and he started talking to us. And he was a really interesting cat. He was drunk and disturbed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and but he had good intentions. Um, but he was just not in his right mind. And I uh, got to talking to him, and he was ex-military, and he shook my hand, and I could feel his whole body was just like super tense,
mm,
and uh, it was an intense experience because he was like that. I could tell he was somebody who's seen a lot of violence,
yeah.
and he didn't want violence. He was appreciating, me and my son. having a moment together and training together and stuff like that. He wanted respect. He was one of these guys that's been through a lot of shit, and they want respect and love and appreciation.
Yeah.
But man, it was, yeah, people have seen stuff like that. I know I could tell he had seen stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was thinking about my prior statement. It's like maybe they understand peace, but they may not be at peace in their mind or their
He
nervous
wasn't.
system.
Yeah, he
Like
wasn't.
my grandfather, I heard of him, like he was World War II, flew B-27s, I think, and either be that or B-29. He was in the crew in the planes. He's been shot down a couple times, like, and he would apparently he got shot down somewhere over Italy, had to walk back to camp and was pissed about it. Like, god damn. Like, holy fuck, that's a different breed right there. But when my mom was growing up, when there was a thunderstorm, he would belly crawl in the house and unplug shit. Fucking PTSD. Like he wouldn't.
Yeah.
There's lots of bangs and noises, and he's like fucking, you know,
Yeah.
wired up for fucking hit the dirt, boys. Like, yeah. So probably not a fun experience
Mm-mm.
reliving that.
Mm-mm. Hmm. Where else we going?
I don't know. We could wind it down there. Um, yeah.
What movie or story um like demonstrates to you the values that you love, that you think are good? What
Oh,
what
that's interesting.
story really captures your imagination?
Well, there's maybe maybe I can just give a few examples of snippets that is aligned with whatever I, say my values or whatever. One is the first one when you said story, the first one I thought of was, have you seen The Covenant by Guy Ritchie?
I have not.
You should watch it.
Okay.
It's this guy, like, oh, see, I get chills just thinking about it. Like, it's this guy gets injured behind the lines in some desert country, I think Middle East somewhere, and this operative who's helping, but like he's a local, and this guy is like U.S. military. He gets injured, and this guy just takes this injured person, doesn't have to, but gets him to safety. And
Wow.
then the military guy goes back after having been saved and being promised that this person would be compensated and his family would be gotten to America. He promised that that would happen, and it never happened. And he fucking goes, he's like, I am gonna find this guy and I'm gonna get him safe, and he fucking does it.
Wow.
Like, and it's good. So
Mm.
anyway, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then there's a scene also where I guess this shows how I'm imagining, right? Intimate partnerships, right? His wife, the wife of the military guy. Imagine what you would normally what I would normally think of as a wife of somebody like that. She'd be nagging him, and you need to do this, and you can't, and you need to let it go, and ying 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 ying, all this shit. But no, in this movie, she's like, you know what? You've got to do this thing. Fucking go do it. So whatever. It's like just shit like that. So,
Hmm.
but then that's I'm imagining that's like standard anyway ways of thinking about intimate partnerships that I don't see like that kind of support.
Support,
But then it should
honor,
go both ways: honor, integrity. Um,
reciprocation.
yeah. Then we got Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction. Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, but I don't remember who's Mr. Wolf.
When John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson accidentally blow that dude's brains out all over the back of the car,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then they
yeah.
end up at Quentin Tarantino's
Uh,
house, and then
yeah.
and then they're like, "Fuck!" They're freaking out, and they're like, call Mr. Wolf. And Mr. Wolf is like, all right, gentlemen, what's the problem? Okay, I'm blah, blah, blah. I'll be there in 9 minutes. Be ready. You're going to do what I say when I say. You got it? And he just fucking handles business.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to need this, this, and this, and this. You're going to clean it like this. You're going to do this. I need this. Can you do that in 15 minutes? Time is an issue, boys, so I'll be short. Let's go. Like, yeah, like
Wow.
that character just fucking gets it done.
Yeah.
And then Fight Club, you
Fight
know.
Club. What about Fight Club does it
Well,
for you?
one of my favorite scenes in Fight Club is when he drags this guy out of a like Tyler Durden and Edward Norton's character, right? So there's Brad Pitt and
Mhm,
Edward Norton.
mhm.
They're there and they're starting to go to a gas station, and you see Tyler Durden pull out a gun and walk into the gas station, and Edward Norton starts freaking out, and he's like, "Just meet me around back," and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And
Yeah.
Tyler drags this dude out, just this like gas station attendant out, points the gun at the back of his head, grabs his wallet and his head, like, pulls his license out. He's like, Raymond, I see you live at blah blah blah, 123 Main Street, apartment A. It sounds like a shitty or no, yeah, apartment A. It sounds like a shitty basement apartment. Am I right? And he's like, how did you know? He's like, because they give shitty basement apartments letters instead of numbers, Raymond.
Yeah.
Like, now, Raymond, what do you want to be? And the guy's free. He's blubbering like, like, Raymond, I asked you a question, Raymond. What do you want to be? And Edward Norton's like, answer him, Raymond. And he's like, veterinarian, veterinarian. He's like, good. So you need more school. This is Tyler talking with a gun at the
Yeah.
back of the dude's head. You need more school. I'm going to go away. I need to have some more talking. I'm going to go away. And in 6 weeks, I'm going to come back and check on you. And if you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian in 6 weeks, I'm going to fucking, blow your brains all over this fucking
Mhm.
road. And now run. And so he takes his license, and Edward Norton freaking the fuck out. Like, what the fuck was that? What are you doing? He's like, tomorrow when that guy wakes up, he's going to have the best meal of his entire life. His day is going to be the best day he's ever experienced, you know?
Yep.
And like, oh. And then later on in the movie, you see there's a point where you walk into a room and the door closes, and he's got like hundreds of licenses stacked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, like that kind of, it's like, it looks crazy, but it's for a good cause. Like,
Something about that reminds me of an apprenticeship.
yeah,
I
what,
wonder
I don't
why.
know what that could.
Now the gun wasn't loaded in that scene.
That's correct.
Gun was not loaded.
That's correct.
But Raymond did not know that.
No. Not that I've ever done anything with a loaded gun in a workshop before. Probably take that out. No, there was one time where I actually, to prove that it was, I put one in the chamber and shot it out the window. That
Oh
was a
wow.
bit much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
cross the
Welcome to
line there.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Texas. What are you going to do? But anyway, those are some of the stories. You see, like, those things.
Yeah. There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Yeah. What are some for you?
I recently watched The Magnificent Seven
Yep.
with my kid.
That's a good one. Oh, which one? The new one?
The new one. The
Yeah,
new
with
one with Denzel
yeah,
Washington
see,
and
I'm right on board with that. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, my kid loves it. Which is, it's a violent movie. He's
Yeah, it
not he's not an older kid. He's young. But he loves it. He loves
yeah.
it. And I don't know, that movie really, I think there's so many things about that movie that do it for me. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
like all
that's
the
originally
characters.
the Seven Samurai. Like, that's
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
that's from, and it's people they they get hired by rice farmers to protect a village, and they honor that agreement to
yeah,
the
they
last
do.
man.
And I've seen the original one, and it was good, but I got to tell you, I like the Magnificent Seven better.
Yeah,
And maybe it's just because culturally I just connect with it a whole lot more. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it,
Or like, who's the guy? He's the card player. He does the tricks, and
Faraday.
he's been shot up, and he's like, "Can I just have a cigarette at the end?" And like,
Well, that scene really gets me. He rides out. They've got this so Bogue's mining is has taken over this town, and they're um, uh, attacking the town because it's being defended by these seven warriors, and
yeah,
they've got a Gatling gun, and they've
yeah,
just laid the town to waste. And Faraday, who's not the most um, direct of the characters, he usually uses some kind of trickery.
yeah,
But he gets on a horse and he doesn't have to fight anymore. He's earned his horse back. He says that's why he went to fight, was to get his horse back, but we know that's not really why he went.
yeah,
And he rides out there with a few other guys, and they all get shot. But he gets up pretty close, falls off his horse. He's stumbling towards them, gets
yeah,
shot again,
yeah,
falls down, comes back, gets up onto his knees and starts trying to light a cigarette, and they're about to shoot him again, but somebody sees
there's no,
and says, "No, no, stop," and goes up
yeah,
and
yeah,
lights the cigarette for him,
yeah,
and then puts the gun to his head, and then he just falls forward
yeah.
and lights a stick of dynamite and
Yeah,
throws it
he
at him.
falls forward. You think he's dead, and then he comes back up with a stick of dynamite. And fuck you.
But every single one of them, the way they live, the way they die, their weaknesses, their strengths, they're all very, um,
I would
it's
say
all very,
honorable
very
men
touching. Honorable men, very honorable
and
men,
men,
and men, real men,
real
real
men.
men. Yeah, yeah. And none of them are perfect, you know.
No,
They're all human,
yeah,
They're bigger than life. It's a story, but none of them are perfect.
yeah. And so that kind of stuff, like, cause I'm right with you on those. Like that appeals to me. Now, where did we learn that?
It's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing. At some point, I'm okay with just letting it be and just saying, you know what, this is my impartiality. This is my bias. You know what? You may not agree with it, but this is where I draw the line. This is where I'm good and bad,
yeah,
you know? And if you're on the other side, you're on the other side. I'm going to try to change you,
yeah, yeah,
And I think there's maybe issues that some people are they're more fundamental than others. The abortion is a pretty serious issue for a lot of people. A
yeah.
lot of people, they don't want to admit it, but they can find some common ground. They can say, all right, well, abortion, it ain't exactly good, but we can allow it. But we're not going to allow it up to the, eighth and ninth month. We're going to stop it at month 6, or we're going to
Right. And
stop it at month.
yeah, it
Yeah,
becomes
we
where do we draw that line?
where do we draw that line? Other things, we might just have like, you know what? Freedom of speech, we just don't fuck with that.
Yeah,
You know, stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. And then that seems to be how that happens is like we're trying to agree on what we're going to do together. And I imagine culturally, just like if we go global with it, America's a pretty great place to be. We're not in like middle of Africa somewhere with some corrupt ass government that you don't know what, you know, a great economy. European countries look pretty great too, Your health care, fine. Government will take care of you quite a bit. Very social like that. Pay a lot of taxes, but quality of life, comparatively speaking to everywhere else in the world, pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So that's it for today's podcast. Do you have any closing remarks?
Hmm.
Any
Well, in the words of Faraday, I from from the
Magnificent Seven?
Magnificent Seven, yeah, I I knew this guy, and he fell out of a 5-story building,
I like this one.
and all the way down, people inside could hear him shouting through the windows, "So far, so good."
Dude, sometimes I'll tell this one going through the checkout line at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like, did you hear about the guy that jumped out the window? Yeah, they heard him down like passing the 5th floor, like so far so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or people, hey, how you doing? So far so good.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's pertinent.
Tis.
On that note, thank you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast. I'm Brendan and John. I'm Brendan and John. Huh. I guess I'm us.
Mhm. Come to a workshop.
Come to a workshop. Come to a workshop. They actually do kick ass. They are the shit. When it comes to becoming directly conscious or conscious of things, personal growth, awareness, shit like that. Very good. Very high quality product. Service. So come do that. And otherwise, we will catch you in the next one. Bye.